What's up everybody, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about reverse engineering and how this can help you improve your WordPress theme and plugin development training. Maybe you've already seen some of my other videos on how to develop for WordPress and now you want to take your coding skills to the next level. One of the best things you could do is start developing your own themes and plugins. This will definitely give you good practice. And over time, you can enhance your themes and plugins to add more features or functionality. But sometimes we need some inspiration in how to get started or how we should be doing things. And that's where reverse engineering already existing themes and plugins can come in handy. So what is reverse engineering? Well, this is the process of taking something that already exists, breaking it down to its most simplest forms, and identifying how they're accomplishing what they're looking to do. So in this case, we're going to be reverse engineering some themes and plugins. We're going to be taking a look at their folder structure. We're going to take a look at what functions they're using, what classes they're using, and how they separate their code. So if you want to take your WordPress coding skills to the next level, let's jump on the computer and let's reverse engineer some themes and plugins. Alright, so before we begin reverse engineering a theme and plugin, if this is your first time here, consider subscribing to the channel. I release videos on how to manage a WordPress powered website. I feature some of the best plugins and how to set them up. I do theme reviews, and I also teach people how to code for WordPress. After I finish the video, I'll release a blog post that I'll upload to my website, PixemWeb.com. This is where you'll find some of the written material for the videos that I upload to YouTube. And now for this demonstration, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be downloading the _ starter theme by Automatic. This is a great starter theme. It's unstyled, but gives you the basic code you need in order to develop your WordPress theme. And I have a whole entire video tutorial on how to code a WordPress theme using underscores and the Bootstrap front-end framework. And we're also going to be working with the simple social icons for the plugin route. I'm going to be doing this on my local environment. So for that, I'm going to be using a local web server called Local by Flywheel. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create a new local website. I'm going to name it Reverse WP, and I'll hit continue. And I'm going to do a custom setup over here. I'll just choose an Apache web server. Then you could choose your username. I have a video on how to set this up as well. This is a great local web server to choose, so definitely check it out. I'll leave a link to all the videos that I recommend in the upper right hand corner in the cards and also down in the description area down below. So definitely make sure to check those areas out. Alright, so once the website's provisioned, as you see I have a couple of demo sites over here that I'm working with. But today I'm going to be working with Reverse WP. This is a brand new installation. We can see that we have a couple of things. Now I'm not going to do a deep dive into Local by Flywheel in this video because I did another video where I did a full demonstration on how to set it up and use it. But the basics are you have your site set up and you have your database, and we're going to be working with this over here. So when you click this button over here, it'll open up a new window or a new tab in your browser. And this is the database it created. This is for Reverse WP itself, as you can see in the URL right here. So we have our default 12 tables, and as you can see, this is the information that we have. This is important to note when you're going to reverse engineer a theme or plugin because you're going to want to see what changes it makes and where inside of the database. So you're going to take notes. You're going to see that you have your users, the user meta, taxonomy, terms meta, and the other tables as well. A lot of the changes will take place in the WP _ options table, so we'll definitely be taking a look at that. But seeing the changes that take place inside of the database is going to be vital to the process of reverse engineering. Alright, so now that we have that done, let's go back over here. You can click on admin or view site. So if we click on the view site and we go back to our browser over here, you'll see in another tab it opened up a brand new website. So this is just a basic fresh installation. It has the default post for hello world, but really nothing else. So we could log into the site itself, put in your username and password that you set up. If you have any updates, make sure to check that out. But as you can see, we have the default themes installed, nothing else yet. And we have no plugins here. What I like about Local by Flywheel is they don't install the default plugins that come with WordPress. So it's just one little thing you don't have to worry about deleting when you're working with a local environment. So that's pretty cool. Alright, so what we're going to do here is we're going to add a new plugin. but we're also going to make sure that we keep paying attention to what happens here. So as I mentioned, we're going to install simple social icons. I'm choosing this one because it's a plugin that people are probably going to be using since they're going to want to have some form of social media sharing on their website. It's very popular. It's 200,000 active installations, a lot of positive reviews. So we'll install now. Go back here. Let's just refresh our page and see if anything's changed. All right, so you see something here changed. And this is where you'll start going down to see what is new. And you might have to go from one page to the next. Now, the thing to also realize is that sometimes there'll be transients that might also create new additional rows within your database. So that might give you a false positive if something's changed. But you're going to get used to that. As you see, we have some transients that are created here. All right, so we'll go back over here. We haven't activated the plugin yet, so now we'll activate it. And we'll see if anything's changed. We'll go back to the main part of the database. Now we see the transients went down by 2. We have 135 rows, auto incremented 147. So again, that could be just some of the transients that got modified. But we did activate something, so did it make a change in our database? It did create an entry over here in the active plugins column. Right here in the option name and option value, you see that we have simple social icons is now active. If you edit that, you can see that more clearly. So now you see that that's been changed inside of our database. All right, so let's go back over here. Now, another thing, besides seeing any changes that a plugin might make within your database, you're also going to want to reverse engineer the code. So I'm going to be using the Atom text editor for this demonstration. So what I'll do is I'll bring in the project folder for that website. It's reverse WP. It's inside of the app folder and then inside of the public folder. But we're going to want to bring in this whole entire public folder right there. Select that. And then if you go down into the folder WP-content plugins, you'll see the simple social icons plugin right there. So now you could open up one of the files. We'll open up the simple-social-icons.php. Now I'm not going to be going over all the code. I'm just showing you the process of how you would reverse engineer themes and plugins. Now this is important because if you want to see what a plugin is doing to your website, if you want to see if there's any malicious code within the plugin itself or in the theme, this is something you may want to learn. Of course, this also takes into consideration that you're somewhat familiar with PHP and some WordPress code. But if you start scrolling down, you see we have our plugin information up here. We have our add action, plugins loaded, the text domain. To load the text domain right here, shows you the location of it. And if you start seeing some of this code snippets here and you're confused on what it's doing, then what I recommend doing is going over here, going to your browser, and going to developer.wordpress.org. And then you can either go to the theme section or plugin section, but the best area is going to be to go into the code reference. And so what this is, if there's a function that you're not familiar with, or a hook or a class or method that you're confused on what it's doing or what it's supposed to do, this is where you can paste in that function, class, method, or hook and run a search, and it'll tell you what specifically that part of the code is supposed to be doing. So let's go over here. Let's say we're going to take this load plugin text domain. Let's copy that, go back to our browser, paste that there. All right, so we have the load plugin text domain. We have the string domain string deprecated equals false. String plugin rel path equals false. Loads of plugins translated strings. Then it gives you some more information down here. Some of the parameters, what it returns, and where it can be found within the source code of WordPress. All right, so it's telling you it can be found in this file in the WP-includes folder. So you can expand the full source code there to see that whole entire function. And when you scroll down, you might see some user contributed notes as well. But you could also go into your local installation, go into the WP-includes, scroll down to find that file right there, and this is where it's at. So if you remember here, starts at 705. So you can either scroll down all the way to 705, or we could just do a simple find, paste that in, and now we're there. So you see the code. Now you could also find that function by highlighting it here as we just did, and then finding in project, then find all. Then it'll find every single mention of that particular function inside of your currently existing project. So we see here that it's 5 results found in 3 files. You can jump to the file again, takes us to the same spot, right there as well, and there. Alright, so now you can start doing some further research on what is taking place over here. So we have the function, we have the variables, the apply filters, along with some other functions as well. And the process of reverse engineering is not something that can be done in just a matter of minutes, unless it's a very simple task that you're doing. But generally, this is something that will take you considerable amount of time, especially if you want to do a deep inspection on what a particular plugin or theme is doing and trying to figure out how they're doing it. Alright, so now they're creating their class simple social icons. They're extending the WP underscore widget class over here. Go back to the reference. And now we have the class here. This is the main class for it. Alright, so Simple Social Icons is actually a very small plugin. Even though there are hundreds of lines of code in just this one file, some other plugins might have thousands of lines of code in one file, might have hundreds of folders and additional files with additional code located in each folder. So definitely you're going to have to map out exactly how it is you want to reverse engineer that particular plugin or theme. So if we go back over here, part of the process is going to be you take your main plugin right there, right? So this is the demonstration one. You open it up. You see the main files that it has in there. Then you see the subfolders. They're separating it by CSS, the icons used for the social media websites, and their pot file. So that gives you a general understanding of the structure of this plugin itself. All right, so now let's go back to the browser. Let's say we're going to go here. We're going to go to widgets because that's where you'll interact with this particular plugin at. You'll see it's right here in Simple Social Icons. So we're going to drag it right there. We're going to give it a title. And let's just say we're going to take my YouTube channel. Put it right there. Actually, I'm just going to put in the shorter version. And then we're going to say that we want it to open up in a new window. So we're just going to put that one entry in there for now. Let's click Save. Now we put it into our sidebar. So now we go to the front of the website. We see we have that there. We see in the lower corner of the browser window, it's going to open up the link. If we inspect it, we see how it's treating that. So we have the SVG right here. And then this is the actual link right here. And we see that it's going to open up in a new tab. All right, so let's check that out. And it does. All right, so real quick, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and the notification icon. But now let's take a look at our database. And let's see if there's anything that changed over here. All right, so we see the numbers have changed a little bit. So now let's go to the WP underscore options table. Select data. You see we still have the active plugins right there. We can reverse it by clicking the option ID here and start taking a look if we see anything that has changed within our database. And over here you see in the sidebars widgets, we have the Simple Social Icons is active. So you can take a better look at that. You can see what's active in your sidebar widget area. And then if you go down here, you're going to see that this option ID 146, widget simple social icons, has some information that we could take a look at. Could expand that. And you see it has some of the parameters and some of the settings that we wanted to have set there. So we have the title, connect with us, open up in a new window. These are all the various options. And then you see over here, we have the link itself. So this would definitely have some more information if you inserted more social media links. But as you can see, we're able to see what changes the Simple Social Icons plugin did to our website. When we saw some of the code and how we could reverse engineer that, and we also see what changes it makes to the database. Again, this is something that does take time, so you have to be patient and you have to really be meticulous in the process of taking a look at what is different in your database and seeing if it's something that's just a transient or if it's something that's changed based on a theme or plugin settings or options. All right, so we go back here. All right, so we just took a look at Simple Social Icons. So now what I want to do is take a look at the underscore starter theme. So what you could do here is just download it to your computer. Going to download the master zip file. All right, so now I'm in my downloads folder. Going to extract that. And once it's extracted, you could just copy the folder. Or matter of fact, double click it if you're on Windows, because you're going to see that you have another subfolder with the same name, and that's the actual folder there. So let's copy that. And now what I want to do is go to my location on my computer where the files exist for the themes of my website. And again, that's going to be reverse WP for this demonstration. In the app folder, in the public folder, in the WP-content folder, go to themes, and I'm going to paste that theme right there. Now I'm not changing anything. I'm not going to change the name of it. We're just going to take a look at it. What I'll do here is I will take that folder and I will bring it into the Atom text editor as well. So now we have it here. We're going to take a look at the code in a minute, but first let's go back to our browser, go back to our website, go to themes, and now you're going to see that we have the underscore starter theme installed. It's not activated yet, but it's there. All right, so now let's go activate it. Go over here to our database again. Go to the options table, select data. And then you're going to scroll down and you're going to see that we have now in the option ID 40 and 41, in this case, yours might be different. The template is underscore s-master and the style sheet is underscore s-master. So that's the active theme that we're using. If you edit it, you can see the information there. And same thing here. All right, so now if we go into the manage themes, we visit the website. Obviously, it looks like nothing here yet, but just to show you a demonstration of what this can look like, I'm going to start up another session over here, demo WP. I'm going to start the site. This is for the training that I'm doing for Dev WP, which is my WordPress coding training theme. So I started the website. Now I'm going to view the site. So now we go back to our browser. This theme that I'm coding has a bunch of new features that I'm going to be releasing a video on. And that's going to be the fixed menu on top or a regular menu on top that's not fixed. We have the ability for the container fluid, which means a nearly full width edge-to-edge display of the website content. The new version of DevWP is going to have the sticky sidebar feature as well. And if you don't like the full edge-to-edge display, it also has a boxed display in the center, which is the typical standard display. And the same thing here for the navigation on top. This could either be edge-to-edge or more traditional, which is towards the center. And this theme already comes with support for all of these social media websites over here. All right, so that's enough about DevWP. All right, so now let's go over here. We have it active. We're not making many changes here, but what I want to take a look at is actually the code base itself. So we'll go over here to the Atom text editor, and this is where you'll start looking at the code here. You start looking at the functions.php file, see what functions are being used, what template tags are being used, what type of code is being utilized by it. You'll take note of the folder structure, seeing what files are in the main directory, what subfolders does it have, and how many subfolders does it go down. And you start mapping out the particular theme or plugin itself. Take a look at the JavaScript in the includes folder. Now, when you download it from GitHub, you're going to get some of these other folders as well. Those you would delete when you're going to be using it for your production website. But you will be taking a look at the code, the get header function over here. Want to search for what that does. Copy that. Go back to our reference section here. Paste it in. And now you see some information on that get header function itself. Now, besides that, there's also some plugins, and I'm not going to go over too many of them because I did a video on the top 22 developer-centric WordPress plugins that you might want to use when developing a theme or plugin. And a lot of them will give you detailed information on what is actually taking place. But I will mention just a couple. You can install the theme check plugin. Then you can install the show current template, this plugin right here. Another one that I like is called the health check. You can install that one. And then another one is plugin inspector. Install that one. Now there's a bunch of them that you could definitely install. This is another one that's pretty good, theme inspector as well. But again, I did another video on the top 22 WordPress developer-centric plugins you should use when developing a theme or plugin. So this is just a very small sampling of some of the plugins I use. But we're going to activate these. And now you can start taking a look at some of the things that are taking place with a particular theme that you're using. You can see that when we're on the main page of our website, our local website here, we're using the index.php file. And these are the additional files that are being utilized by it. Go to Theme Inspector. You see these are the conditions that are true and the content type. And then if we go over here to Plugin Inspector, we can check to see if a plugin is safe or not. So let's take a look at simple social icons. We'll check it, and it tells us that it came back okay. There's no vulnerabilities. Now, if you run this against some other plugins, you might often get some red flags that are really not much of an issue. What that means is you definitely have to just investigate what that code is doing. And it'll make reference to what file or where the code that might be an issue is located at. So definitely check it out. And then you may want to use another tool like WordFence, which also does a code check to let you know if there's any issues with any code that might be installed on your website. But this is a good plugin to use if you want to get a general understanding if a plugin is safe or if there's any vulnerabilities that are known and where that code is at. You could also find it over here in Tools and Plugin Inspector. Now for the health check, we can go to Dashboard, Health Check, and it'll give us some information about our current installation. Now I'll do another video on this, but this is just to let you know if there's any issues with your installation that you should be aware of. And this is going to be important when you're reverse engineering any changes on your website that might raise a red flag. You might want to check the stability or the files to make sure they're using the correct files. Another thing that people are not fully aware of is that you can go to Updates and you could reinstall WordPress, the current version of it, just by clicking this button right here. And that'll reinstall WordPress for you. Now what I also tell people is that you want to be vigilant about inspecting your website, your files, and your folders, and seeing if there's any changes from one version of the theme on your website to your local installation. So I tell people, keep a local copy of everything or a backup or a duplicate of your website locally. And then what you could do is use a tool called Meld, and you can get that over here at meldmerge.org. This is a free tool. It's a diff checker. So what you could do with this is you can identify if there's any changes in any folders or files. You can do a comparison, and then it'll show you where those changes are. Sometimes that'll be faster than having to go directly into each file in order to identify any changes made. So what I'm going to do is I'll go do a directory comparison, but real quick what I'll do is since I'm here in the underscores theme right here, I'm just going to go over here and just create a simple comment. And I'm going to save that. All right, so now I just saved that there, right? So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to get another folder. Let me minimize this. On this side, I'm going to go to my download folder. All right, so you remember we have to go into the folder there that way. So now I have my website theme here, and then I have the downloaded version of it. All right, so what I'm going to do here is I'll drag this version right there, and then I'll compare it against the downloaded backup version. It'll scan every single file and folder within that theme or plugin or whatever it is you're working with and highlight what has changed. So as we see, we only have one thing that changed in the functions.php file, and it shows us from our website installation to the downloaded version. This is the clean version right here. And it shows us that that comment line that I added is right there, but it's not here. So this is a good tool to have when you're doing some reverse engineering to see what's changed from one version of a plugin to another, or one version of a theme to another, or even from WordPress updates, or to see if there's anything that's been inserted maliciously into your website. So definitely check out Meld Merge. It's a very good tool to use. All right, so that's a lot of information that I covered, but the general sense of it is you're going to meticulously take notes on different things like mapping out the theme files and folders, taking a look at what's changed within the database and how what that theme or plugin is doing impacts your database, and using resources like the developer.wordpress.org website in order to find out more information about functions, hooks, classes, and methods. Now, obviously, WordPress is based on PHP, so you're definitely going to want to take a look at the php.net documentation pages, just in case there's a PHP code snippet that you're not familiar with, and maybe it's not part of the WordPress core code. Obviously, there could be some custom PHP functions or methods or objects or classes that have been created that alter the functionality of a theme or plugin or the website itself. So definitely bookmark the php.net website, the developer.wordpress.org reference website. Make sure you're using a good text editor or IDE and using a good local web server. The two that I currently use are MAMP and Local by Flywheel. And dedicate some time. Just download a couple of themes and plugins, some smaller ones at first, just so you can practice. Take notes, identify what changes are being made, and then gradually make your way up to some of the more complex plugins. This can be great when you're learning how to code because you can get inspiration or ideas on how to code your theme or plugin. So reverse engineering is good for a couple of reasons. It's good for learning how to code, and it's also good for inspecting and verifying your website's doing what it's supposed to do. And there's nothing taking place that shouldn't be happening on your site. All right, so hopefully you found this video helpful. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe because I release videos on how to manage a WordPress-powered website, how to code for WordPress, and some videos on social media marketing and things of that nature. So again, thumbs up, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.